Ghana Broadcasting Corporation should be made to comply with the Supreme Court decision of NPP versus GBC for it to provide equal access to all political parties. Now, I love this one because this gives us the beauty of democracy. The case they refer to, of course, the case was done by Nana Akufo-Addo. There was a lawyer in the case. Forgive me for saying that, but that's a matter of public record. Nana Akufo-Addo was a lawyer in NPP versus GBC. Now, what was NPP versus GBC about? Forgive me, let me just tell you a story. I'm a storyteller. Let me tell you a story. So one day we woke up and watched Talking Point. Those of us who were kids who watched Talking Points. We watched Talking Points. And on Talking Point was Victor Salome, who was the government's Deputy Minister of Finance. And then there was Kwame Pianim, the same Kwame Pianim you know, who was the NPP opposition leader. Talking Point was recorded on Thursdays. So when Talking Point was recorded on Thursday, they put it together. Sunday, they show it on Sunday, but they record on Thursdays. Now, during the airing of the program was ended, cut short, finished. Okay, NPP were unhappy. So they wrote to the GBC that Dr. Kwesi Botwe, who was the Minister of Finance, had given a press conference about the budget. The NPP wrote to GBC that they had also done a press conference about the budget addressed by Kwame Pianim and Johnson Asiedu, the same Johnson Asiedu who is father of Ken Oforiatta back in the day. And they wanted that press conference on television. Ghana Television said no. So Nana Akufo-Addo took out a writ and went to the Supreme Court to tell the Supreme Court that under the Constitution, the state broadcaster is obliged to publish all shades of political opinion. The Supreme Court agreed with him. This was 1993 or 94. The Supreme Court agreed with him, and that's the case NPP versus GBC. Is it not instructive? Is it not to the glory of democracy that today Johnson Asiedu Nketia of the NDC is citing NPP versus GBC that political parties should be given equal access? Fantastic. That's what it is. That's what it should be. The EC must by law be made a mandatory party to all parliamentary elections petitions, just as in the case of the presidential election. So the NDC, I'm sure they are talking about the case of the Bono, can I forget his name? Okay, Martin J. Mensah Kosa's constituency, where there's a problem and there's been a problem. In the court case in the constituency, the Electoral Commission was not a party to the action, and I think that's where this reform is coming. I can agree with this as well. The Electoral Commission is the determinant of who wins a parliamentary election. So if there's a parliamentary election petition, yes, it makes sense that the Electoral Commission must be a party to a natural party to the suit, as it is with the presidential election. A compellable witness, okay, yes, the same thing. Spell out by the law, they want the Electoral Commission to spell out by law the security responsibility of the EC, if any, the police and the military during the registration of voters after the voting and after the voting. Legislation should bind the chairperson of the EC as a returning officer of the presidential election to afford the agents of the participating political parties and candidates full participation in the collation of the presidential election results at the EC's National Collation Center. I'm sure you remember Rojo Metil-Nuno in the court who said that the Electoral Commission, who said that he was prevented from conferring with the Electoral Commissioner at the time that the results were ready. This is also very important. This is very important. It says that split the Electoral Commission into two separate bodies, namely an Office for the Regulation of Political Parties, ORPP, and an Electoral Commission, EC, by amending the Political Parties Act. That's something they are talking about. That's also very interesting. Okay, party agents must be enabled by regulation to oversee the transmission of collated results at all various stages of the collation process and at both ends of the results transmission. Such transmitted collated results must be confirmed and validated by the party agents at the receiving end to be acceptable. Okay, so they want party agents to be part of the transmission process. I think that's also cool. The EC should give wider publicity to the annual calendar of its activities. Okay, that one is not very important. The statement of poll and the declaration of results forms should be redesigned and simplified. Okay. I don't have a copy of that document here, so we'll see whether Professor Jampo can describe it. The EC should reduce the number of extra ballot papers supplied to the polling stations for spoilage and include smaller booklets containing 20, 15, and 10 sheets so that smaller numbers of extra ballot papers can be given out. I think I can agree with this one. But by the way, I'll ask Professor Jampo, why does the EC why did it go to a ballot station, a polling station? Then they have so many ballot papers they say it's for spoilage, and Why do they do that? I agree with this. They should have smaller ones. Smaller. Okay. All right. There must be a public broadcast of the presidential vote collation process at the EC office and as and when the constituency presidential results are received. Okay. I cannot but agree with this one as well. They want more transparency. It's coming from the National Democratic Congress, which is great. They want more transparency in the electoral processes. They want there to be a public broadcast of the coalition of the results at the Presidential Coalition Center, where the Electoral Commissioner is the returning officer. I agree with this one. Okay, let's move on. The mandatory requirements for the publication of applicants for recruitment as temporary EC staff for registration of voters and elections, and for allowing the public to object to applicants who have questionable backgrounds or have overt partisan biases must be strictly complied with. Okay, correct. The requirements of the list to be posted at the district EC offices to which the application released must also be complied with. Okay. EC should comply with the requirement for each political party participating in an election to be provided with a copy of the final voters register. Yes, I think the EC does that, don't they? Okay, we'll find out. But this is also a very important one. Okay, I think we are done. Oh, great. So we do have 19 minutes past the top of the hour.